So we're basing this on Tiago's The Simpsons kind of room, okay? And what we need to do is first put this in Blender, okay? So I'm just gonna click and drag this into the scene. So if you have a Mac, use Finder and drag it, or Windows File Explorer. So just simply find the JPEG, drag it into the scene. All right, there it is. Do you guys see it in Blender now? The photo, yes? Okay. All right, so what I'll do is first position this and center it, all right? So that it makes it easier for our camera setting to be. So I'm not gonna use this cube for now, so I'm gonna get rid of it. All right, so I have the photo selected. I'm gonna press N, it's in numbers. Get our transform item right here. So there's your location. It has a value because I just dragged that in there. But if I click and drag X, Y, Z together, I can press 0 and then just kind of center that in. It has no location value. It has no scale value. Otherwise, but the rotation, you have 90 degrees simply because it's upright. It's not on the ground, right? If I put 0 in here, it'll be sleeping on the ground like a carpet. Okay, so 90 degrees, because the reason why that work is I made sure I'm in the front viewport when I dragged it. Okay, if let's say I'm going to use an example here, right? I'm going to have an angle like this. Okay, I'm going to have Finder in here and I'm going to drag it in. So if I drag that in, all right, so it looks like it's flat, but in reality it's not. Look, it's based on that angle. So when you drag your photo, make sure you're in the front viewport, flat, orthographic, okay? And if you made a boo-boo, you can always just select that and then type in the values here, but it's just less work when you do that, okay? All right, so I'm gonna go 1 right here, which is the flat orthographic, okay? And I'm gonna go to this portion right here, which is the image background. And there's a transparency here. Okay, the transparency is simply making it transparent. So if you need to lower the transparency so you can see better, that's what you have to do. All right, let's turn on transparency and then drag the opacity slider. All right, so what we want now is the camera to actually look at this, right? So several ways to do that. One is, let me split this, do a vertical split. Keep missing it. Let me just do it here. Okay, so this one is dedicated to what the camera is seeing and where the camera is positioned. All right, so I'm gonna go press 0 here. All right, there it is. So that's what the camera is seeing. So now let's grab the camera. Okay, so let's make sure it's in the center. So I'm gonna put 0 here on the location. All right, so you can see it can't see much because it's just actually in the center. So let's fix the rotation, okay? Let's go 0, 0 on all the rotation as well. So it's just looking down right there, okay? So we want this to kind of look up, so that will be the x-axis. So I'm gonna slide it in here and type in the number 90. So, but I do want you to see what's happening when I drag x. All right, so you can see it's pointing up. Right, so just simply type in positive 90. Okay, can't see it because simply look, it's looking at the back of the photo. Now that would be the green axis, so that's y location. So I'm going to pull this back. Once you're pulling this back, it's going to start centering that right there. Okay, so now we take a look at it. There it is. That's what the camera sees from this distance. Okay. So to block this shot, meaning I can't start putting items in here because they're not going to be as big as that sofa. So we're going to use this sofa right here as a focal point. Okay, so I'm going to use a cube to model and position it there. Okay, so I'm going to add an object, mesh cube. All right, there it is. So I will then here make sure it's not lock camera to view, so you don't accidentally change that. Okay, I'm also going to select this camera right here. All right, you don't want to change the visibility because you know sometimes you need to kind of still tweak it. All right, but definitely I want to turn on selectability and unselect, so you can't select it, so you can't possibly mess with it. Okay, so I'm gonna select this cube right here, and then even here I can model because this is where you're viewing it, so I can just scale that and turn on my X-ray right here so it's see-through. Okay, maybe way too see-through. Why is that? It's too faint. Okay, I guess that's fine right there. I can go wireframe also. Makes it easier to see. All right, there you go. So at least we get to see it right here. So I can zoom in on this one. And then let's say this is where the software is going to be positioned. I can go have this selected, go to my scale tool, make this wide right here. So we're just looking at the arm of this is the back line, right? So I'm gonna make this one that small, move it down here. Okay, I'm just gonna do this part right here, not the arms, the bottom part. Okay, almost there. All right, so that looks like almost correct angle. Okay, because the reason for that is I'm looking at kind of like the angle of the cushion right here and the angle where that would be. Okay, we don't know the depth right now because it's simply not shown in 3D, so I will scale this one as well. Okay, let's say if we have to guess, that's how big, how deep that is, and then I'm gonna go and maybe just lower this down. All right, so that good blocking, I guess. It'll do the job for now. Okay, and next is build the other parts. So cushions right here, it'll be the same thing as this object here. I'm just going to duplicate it. So Shift D to duplicate. Okay, and then I'm gonna move it up right there. It'll be this cushion right here. So I'm gonna go scale it and maybe scale it lower. So you can see I'm not using a lot of keyboard shortcut here, so you get to see what's kind of happening. Scale it. All right, it's good enough for now. Yeah, the angle is still not correct right there, but again, we're just kind of blocking it. Okay, and I'm gonna add a modifier to this just so that it looks kind of smooth. So it'll be I'm gonna do Control 1, not on the numpad. Okay, maybe Control 2. Maybe let's do that later. I'm just gonna go undo those. You'll get the point here. So the angle right here is not working for us. The camera might be a little bit kind of aim up a bit or down. All right, so I'm gonna camera view right here, lock it in, and then let me see. All right, so if I angle it a little bit like so, and then pan up a bit. All right, well, it's locked it into that one, right? But if I select both of these objects, oops, sorry. Just those two objects, not the background, those two cubes. All right, that's not so bad right there, okay? So now we can start kind of, in a way, ignore the perspective of the photo, then we can just start creating all the objects, okay? So just to block the camera real quick, I'm gonna work here, Shift D, have another cushion, then I'm gonna put a little gap in there so it's quite obvious how big or small it's supposed to be. Okay, and we're assuming here that the camera is 50, it could be 40. Okay, so right there, and then I could make those adjustments later on. Again, this is a little tricky because it's 2D. Okay, and we're gonna duplicate this. Okay, rotate it RY90 so it's standing up. put it right there, and then kind of scale it a little bit wide, and that should be fine for now. Regarding the curvature on the top, you're just blocking your scene, okay? And then finally we're going to select this bottom piece right here, okay? And then we're going to actually move this back now, because this is where this center point will be. We're going to move this a little further back, so it'll be kind of pretending it's back against the wall, something like that. Or we can make it probably around there and make it transparent now so we can see what's behind it. Okay, select the bottom right here, duplicate, move it back. That's the X axis right there. We got to rotate it, so that would be RX90. Okay, so it becomes this part right here. We go to the top, number 7, we just got to position it there and then make it wide. Right there. Okay, so that it's the sofa right there. Okay, so that's the blocking of the sofa, and then next would be the plane where the floor will be. Okay, so I'm gonna turn our image right now, which is the photo, and make it invisible first. I'm gonna go Shift A, add a plane, which is just basically the floor. I'm gonna press S to scale it. Okay, right there, and then maybe move it back a little bit because past the camera. All right, right there, and then maybe lower this down so that it's the sofa is sitting on top of it. Okay, let's turn on the photo again. All right, so it still goes back there a little bit. The kitchen is further back, so we have to scale this one further back. Okay, right there, and then maybe move it back a little bit since we're not going to be using past the right there. So that just kind of, all right, angle wise, you see the angle again. It's a 2D conversion, so let's try and get that thing correctly positioned. So if I go, all right, it's almost the same angle right there. Okay, so just kind of pan this kind of down, rotate it a bit. All right, close enough, I think. We got the angle right there, not the same kind of length, but if you just want that corner to corner, because that's the cabinetry right there, you can just leave it like that. Okay, and then I'm gonna unlock that thing so we can see it. All right, so now we are starting to put all the different elements right here. One more thing here is this wall, which is supposed to be behind the sofa. All right, so that can, it's actually a cube since there's thickness to this one, but we're just going to use a plane. All right, so I'm just going to make one from scratch because I don't want to mess with that. It's kind of too big. So RX90 along the x-axis right here. You can type in 90 degrees here, or you can just type in RX90. All right, we got to move this at the back of the sofa. I'm guessing there would be a little bit of distance between the wall and the sofa right there, or they flush it. We'll have to figure that out eventually. We got to move this up so that it's just on the floor. Okay, so I'm going to press number 3 for that one, side viewport, and just kind of match the height of the sofa right there. Okay, and move that up also. All right, and we're going to make this wide. All right, actually up to there only. Then we'll move it because this is the corner of that wall. Looks like it's open right there, or yeah, I think that's deeper right there, or that's the same. Yeah, it's further back because of the carpet. So I'm gonna move that over here, and that's good enough distance right there. Okay, and we're gonna move it back so it matches the line. There you go, right there. And we can do several things to this. That's a lot farther back. So again, in 2D, it doesn't quite match the perspective, but it's kind of matching that one right there. Then we gonna have to maybe change the camera focal length on this one. So let's try that real quick. I just want to see and make sure that that's the case. Okay, so 50, let's go 40. All right, sorry, the other way around that. So I'm gonna go 70. Okay, so then here, zoom out a bit, or I can go select that and move that a little bit back. So when you increase your focal length from 50, then it becomes a little bit more compressed. So this guy here can go closer. Let's see. But I don't want to cheat in a way where we move it up, because that would be, but the angle's going to, so the distortion, so it's really challenging with this one. Let me go back to the previous camera. Let's say we go 40 here. And I'm just going to punch it in a little bit. You got to figure out that distance right there eventually. Okay, so let's say I'm going to move that just a bit right there, and that corner, let's say that's good enough for now. I kind of make that wide a little bit, and then here let me turn on the image. Well, let me do the cuts first. So tab, go to edit mode, and then I'm going to do Control R, okay, for edge loop cut, and I'm going to move it where that door opening would be. Another Control R, and then move it right there, and another one here, horizontal, Control R, click, and then move up. All right, so then I can go to face mode, select this face right here, and then press delete face, so we got that opening. Okay, so let's turn off the photo. All right, so there's the blocking. So that's the kitchen right there, and then at least we have this part right here. And I'm on what's my camera now? Did I move it back to oops, sorry, have to be in object mode. I got 40. I think we're gonna, yeah, 40 probably will work. Okay, so let's turn on the photo. All right, so then the next one right here will be positioning these objects. We still got to figure out the angle right here, so it's got to be a camera rotation for the camera here. Let's see, that's on X. All right, go probably like that, and then just move it up. It's really tricky with the 2D distortion and in 3D, because it wants to go further back just to get that kind of angle, but we know for a fact that that's way too much right here. So it's got to be some angle issues we can fix. So that would be kind of correct right there where we position it, but it's showing a lot of the sofa top. So all right, so we're just gonna leave it like that for now, get it as close, but maybe a little bit more wide on the camera. I'm just getting where I go 35. Okay, and let's get closer a bit, punch that in a bit. All right, probably. And it's a lot more angled at this point. Okay. Let me move this a little bit more precisely here, because the edge of the frame, I keep forgetting the right side right here, that we got to frame that. Okay, that's pretty close right there. And name your stuff, people, because right now we're getting to a point right there. So this plane is the floor. This plane is the wall, And then this one, you know, we can group them up. Okay, so that's one way to kind of, once you get this blocked, you're gonna lock in your camera. Okay, let's say we're happy with the camera here. Okay, uncheck that. All right, and then duplicate your camera. Shift D. Right click to cancel. Make sure you put camera copy right here. That way, whatever happens to that original camera you misplace or you accidentally, you know, rotate it, okay, you get a copy right here. I'm just gonna unselect that and not see it, just as a backup. All right, then of course here, whenever you tweak this and then you're finally happy with that one, then make a copy of that one, replace the old copy. That's how you get around it. Okay, so we got this part right here, and then we're gonna start populating it with all the other object in there. All right, so we might have to, the lighting will be a little bit different. It's kind of flat, so this one, it will be tricky. It's probably going to be a little bit further back and going up depending on the angle, but for now let's just go with you know, with how it's supposed to be, and we'll mess with the camera once all the scenes are kind of in place. Okay, you just want to see the camera right there, so that very important that you get all the other settings. Okay, and we're going to bring in other elements like this lamp, so on and so forth, into the scene. Okay, so I'm going to start the recording for this one, for the camera position.